Alright, hey there YouTube. So behind me I got the Cummins conversion here. Been having a lot of problems with it lately. I made a previous video about couldn't go over 2,000 RPMs, had no power, going uphill. And I put a fuel pump in it because I just happened to pick one up at the auto parts store. I didn't know if I'd even make it home and what was going on. When I changed that fuel pump, I blew back on the fuel line because I noticed that when I disconnected it, I thought it'd siphon out, and it didn't. I thought that was weird. I didn't know. I forgot how much fuel I had at the time, so I wouldn't even know if, it would have siphoned out normally. Anyhow, problem's been persistent, whether or not I got a full tank or an empty tank. And I blew back on the lines a couple times. I went through a bunch of fuel pumps. Not the fuel pump. Something's in the tank. It's not pulling air in any lines. I checked that. I put a clear tube going up to the fuel pump. I don't see any air bubbles or anything coming through that. So, and I don't think the filler neck's broken, or not the filler neck, sorry, the sending unit. Anyhow, I pulled the bed off here. It's got shit in the tank. There's no doubt about that. So I already pulled the sending unit. Let me show you what's going on here. All right. So, for one, a lot of moisture, which I don't know what I can do to really stop that. I looked in the tank, and I don't see any water or anything. You can see this is probably after, there's a line there. That could be after like winter storage, because I don't drive this truck in the winter, or I try not to. I have. Well, here's the sock. It's black, full of shit. It's just not letting anything through, I guess, here. I don't know if it's shitty or what's going on. So I'm going to take that off. So here's the filter. It just pops right off. Not a big deal. My fuel filters were really clean. I didn't have any build up on the screen on the fuel pump. You can kind of suck on it. I don't know. There's a little screen on the inside too, so obviously it's kind of a one-piece deal here. So I'm just going to clean it up, and I'm going to clean it up over a pan and see really what comes out of this thing. Okay, so I got the sock kind of cleaned up. Not really clean, but I just blew it out, and it's just pretty much clogged up with little fine particles of like rust and stuff, and it appears black. Stuck a magnet in it. There's just fine metal particulates in there. I can show you the tank. The tank doesn't appear to have any water in it. In this baffle system here, there's some more of that fine metal stuff. It's really hard to see. But looking in, I don't see any big chunks or nothing. No leaves or who the hell knows what could be in there. It's just fine particulates. Alright, so luckily I went to, it's Sunday here, so I went to a auto parts store, and they actually had a sending unit for a 6.5 diesel, which is what I'm using on this truck, because it doesn't have a fuel pump or nothing on it. And my sending unit's fine. All I needed was the sock, so I pretty much spent $120 something just for a fuel sock. I'm gonna put the old sending unit in, put the new fuel sock on, because there's nothing wrong with it. So, and I had to do a little custom wiring to it to get my fuel gauge worked, going from a gasoline to diesel. Gasoline had 3 wires to it, which I think one of them comes from an oil pressure switch. So when the oil pressure drops, your fuel pump shuts off. But obviously on this truck, I don't need that. So just to avoid the wiring, I'm just going to put the old one on. So, thanks.